Throughout WWE's history, wrestlers have stepped into the ring not only to showcase their strength, but to tell their own stories. Beneath the bright lights and the roar of the crowd, some dared to live authentically, breaking barriers and inspiring millions. They proved that wrestling isn't just a world of power and spectacle, but also a place that celebrates diversity, courage, and the right to be yourself. Today, we're taking a closer look at the WWE stars who proudly represent the LGBTQ+ community, individuals who left a unique mark on the industry. Let's dive right in. Wrestling sphere, go. 1. Darren Young. Before becoming known as WWE's first openly gay male wrestler, Darren Young was just one of many rising talents trying to stand out in the company's brutal internal landscape. He debuted in 2010 as part of the Nexus, the rebellious group that shook WWE to its core with their relentless attacks on top names like John Cena and CM Punk. With a lean physique, serious demeanor, and solid in-ring ability, Young was viewed as someone who could build a steady mid-card career and stick around for years. But behind that confident exterior was a secret he had hidden for far too long, something he believed could cost him everything if it ever came out. Then, in one completely unexpected moment in 2013, his life changed direction. While walking through Los Angeles International Airport, Young was approached by a TMZ reporter who casually asked whether a gay wrestler could succeed in WWE. Without dodging or hesitating, Young smiled and answered, "Absolutely. Look at me. I'm a WWE superstar. And honestly, I'm gay, and I'm happy with who I am." Within seconds, the clip spread worldwide. WWE had no advance notice, fans were stunned, and even his closest co-workers didn't know. For the first time in WWE history, an active wrestler openly confirmed his sexuality, unscripted, unprompted, purely from honesty. The reaction from WWE was overwhelmingly positive. Stephanie McMahon praised his bravery, Triple H called him an inspiration, and most notably, John Cena, who coincidentally was also interviewed by TMZ that same day, immediately voiced his support. "Awesome. I know Darren, and I'm proud of him. This is a tough industry, and he showed real courage." Still, behind the supportive messages, Young's journey wasn't smooth. He later revealed that he felt a subtle but noticeable distance in the locker room. Nobody openly criticized him, but an invisible barrier made people avoid bringing up the subject. On TV, his opportunities slowly declined, and although WWE promoted messages of inclusion, his role became less prominent over time. Even so, Darren Young refused to fade into silence. Working with GLAAD, he became a strong advocate for equality in sports. He shared that the pressure of hiding his identity had nearly broken him, but coming out became the first step toward living freely. In 2017, WWE released him, ending nearly a decade with the company. But Young didn't stop. Under his real name, Fred Rosser, and the nickname Mr. No Days Off, he moved on to New Japan Pro Wrestling, carving out a new chapter defined by pride, resilience, and strength. Darren Young may never have held a major WWE title, but he left behind something far more meaningful, a milestone he reached simply by being himself. 2. Sonya Deville. If Darren Young helped open the door for openly gay male wrestlers in WWE, then Sonya Deville is the one who ushered in a new era for the women's division. Bold, direct, and fiercely confident, she became a trailblazer in an environment long associated with rigid masculine traditions that weren't always welcoming to diversity. But instead of shying away, Sonya entered that world exactly as who she is. Before stepping into a WWE ring, Sonya, real name Daria Baronato, was no stranger to actual combat. As a young MMA fighter, she stood out for her toughness, aggressive style, and sharp instincts. Yet her path to WWE began in a very different way. In 2015, she auditioned for the reality show Tough Enough to pursue a professional wrestling career. And it was there that a seemingly small moment changed everything. During an on-air interview, Sonya was asked what appeared to be a simple question, "Are you dating anyone?" Without dodging, she replied, "I don't have a wife, but I do have a girlfriend." That one unfiltered, unrehearsed answer instantly made her the first openly gay woman in WWE history. Ironically, she later admitted she never intended to make any sort of announcement. It was pure instinct and honesty. Afterward, Sonya revealed in later interviews that she feared the comment would get her eliminated. At the time, she hadn't fully accepted herself, so the fear of rejection nearly overwhelmed her. But the outcome was the opposite of what she expected. WWE didn't push her away. They signed her, giving her the chance to begin a real wrestling career. At NXT, Sonya quickly made an impact with her MMA-influenced offense, crisp strikes, and cool confidence that made her instantly recognizable. By 2017, when she debuted on the main roster as part of Absolution alongside Mandy Rose, she connected strongly with fans. They didn't just see a fierce competitor, they saw a rare, openly gay female wrestler thriving in a world shaped by traditional expectations. What makes Sonya's journey especially meaningful is how she presents her identity. WWE never turned her sexuality into a gimmick or storyline. And Sonya herself has always emphasized that visibility matters, because for young LGBTQ+ fans, simply seeing someone like them is enough to inspire courage and hope. Outside the ring, Sonya has quietly but powerfully become a voice for the community. She works with LGBTQ+ organizations, participates in pride events, and uses her platform to promote equality. A WWE wrestler proudly waving the rainbow flag is something few could have imagined a decade earlier, and Sonya made it real. Still, her path hasn't been easy. In 2020, she faced a terrifying home invasion and kidnapping attempt by a stalker who had been obsessively tracking her for months. The incident shocked the entire wrestling world. But rather than let the trauma defeat her, Sonya came back stronger, still fighting, still inspiring. 3. Pat Patterson. Among the figures who helped shape modern WWE, Pat Patterson is always mentioned with a special degree of respect. As Vince McMahon's right-hand man, he was one of the people who laid the earliest foundation for WWE's rise from a regional attraction to the global brand the world knows today. Patterson entered the business in 1958 in Montreal, Quebec, competing at the Palais des Sports under the fiery ring name Killer Pat Patterson. From there, he began a career spanning decades, one that went far beyond being a wrestler. He was also a trainer, producer, and creative mind who helped define the performance style for generations to come. In every role, his sharp instincts and forward-thinking vision made a lasting impact. In 1996, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a well-earned acknowledgement of his enduring contributions. And in 2019, at age 78, Patterson created one more iconic moment, winning the 24/7 championship and becoming the oldest title holder in WWE history, a clear testament to his undying passion. Yet what makes Patterson's legacy especially meaningful is his unwavering commitment to living authentically. In an emotional episode of WWE Legends House, he publicly stated for the first time that he was gay. He had actually lived openly since the 1970s, a period when doing so often came with heavy stigma. Still, WWE did not include this part of his identity in his official profile until the show aired in 2014. Outside the ring, Patterson frequently visited LGBTQ+ bars in Portland and spoke honestly about his personal struggles during the toughest chapters of his life. His longtime representative, Louis Dondero, was believed to be his true life partner. Their relationship lasted more than 40 years, quiet but steadfast, weathering the many obstacles they couldn't publicly acknowledge for decades. Patterson's life also carried its share of hardship. In 1966, he was caught in a U.S. deportation case. The interview he faced was filled with discriminatory questions, fabricated accusations, and baseless claims. He was ordered to leave the country before January of the following year. Many believe the entire situation was an attempt to push him out of the industry through a disguised psychological evaluation. But Patterson didn't bend. Just days later, he continued wrestling in Arizona, a silent yet powerful act of defiance. In 1971, he applied for a green card and waited years before officially becoming a U.S. citizen in 2002. By then, his relationship with Dondero was openly recognized. The two had truly spent a lifetime together. Tragically, Dondero passed away from a heart attack on the night of the 1998 King of the Ring event. Patterson remained active in the business until his death in December 2020 at the age of 79. 4. Chris Kanyon. Next is the tragic story of Chris Kanyon, whose legacy is often remembered as one of the wrestling world's great heartbreaks. In the late 90s, Chris Kanyon stood out in WCW thanks to his creativity and innovative in-ring style. He was agile, quick-thinking, and always able to turn a match into something unique. Whether performing under the Mortis mask or as part of Raven's Flock and the Jersey Triad, Kanyon showed remarkable precision and a deep understanding of crowd psychology. Fellow wrestlers respected his technical skill, and fans appreciated the originality he brought to the ring. When WCW collapsed and WWE took over, many believed Kanyon would finally get the chance to rise higher. But expectations quickly turned to disappointment. After a brief run in the 2001 Alliance storyline, he suffered repeated injuries that kept him on the sidelines. By 2004, WWE ended his contract, leaving Kanyon frustrated and uncertain about his future. This period marked a painful turn in his life. For years, Kanyon struggled to accept his identity. Not long after leaving WWE, he publicly came out. In interviews, he claimed that being gay was part of the reason WWE released him, a statement that immediately stirred controversy. He later retracted it, saying he had spoken during a period of emotional instability. Even after taking his words back, Kanyon admitted feeling isolated in the locker room, and discrimination in the early 2000s was still very real. One of the most debated moments involved a SmackDown segment where he appeared dressed like Boy George, singing, "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?" shortly after coming out. The segment ended with The Undertaker hitting him with a steel chair. For many fans, that moment would later symbolize the mockery Kanyon endured. Years later, in 2024, The Undertaker publicly denied the long-standing rumors surrounding the incident. He stated he had no idea Kanyon was gay at the time, and that the story had been blown out of proportion. But by the time that clarification surfaced, the damage had long been done, and Kanyon's career had already unraveled. Fans who once chanted, "Who better than Kanyon?" could only watch as he sank deeper into depression and a sense of not belonging in the business he had devoted his life to. Beneath his charismatic performances was a man who felt pushed to the margins, especially in an industry not yet ready to accept someone like him. Ongoing mental health struggles and bipolar disorder worsened his condition after 2004. By 2010, after several signs of self-harm, Chris Kanyon passed away at age 40, a devastating loss for the wrestling community. Only after his death did many fully realize how much he contributed and how much he suffered in silence. Chris Jericho once said, "We kinda knew he was gay. We never saw him with a girl. But nobody cared. He just never really came out. And then he ended up taking his own life." Kanyon's story closes with a deep sense of regret. He lived as an unrecognized innovator, battling himself in an environment where he didn't feel safe to be who he was. And only when he was gone did the wrestling world truly understand that behind his talent was a spirit wounded far too long without anyone to heal it. 5. Jake Atlas. From the moment he stepped into the wrestling world, Jake Atlas chose a path not everyone has the courage to walk, living true to who he is. Even before joining WWE, he was openly gay and considered that an inseparable part of his journey toward achieving his dreams. In an environment where differences are often scrutinized rather than understood, Atlas moved forward with confidence, seeing himself as a representative voice for the LGBTQ community inside the ring. Born in Los Angeles, Kenny Marquez, his real name, began training at the Santino Brothers Academy, where he quickly showed exceptional potential. His 2016 debut against Robbie Phoenix ended in a disqualification victory, opening the door to opportunities across California's independent scene. He became a regular at Orange County Championship Wrestling, Empire Wrestling Federation, and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, earning recognition for his speed, technique, and relentless spirit. Atlas later formed the tag team Aerial Instinct with Lucas Riley, bringing a youthful, high-flying style to the ring. From 2016 to 2017, he collected multiple titles, including the Santino Brothers Wrestling Championship and both the Universal Heavyweight and Junior Heavyweight belts in All Pro Wrestling. To many fans, Jake Atlas wasn't just a skilled performer. He was a symbol of self-confidence in an industry rarely known for embracing gender diversity. In 2018, Atlas unexpectedly gained mainstream attention after appearing on Celebrity Undercover Boss with Stephanie McMahon. A year later, WWE officially signed him. Atlas openly expressed his hope of becoming WWE's first openly gay world champion. But things didn't unfold the way he imagined. Throughout his time with the company, he was never given a title opportunity, and in 2021, he was released during a major round of roster cuts. Undeterred, Atlas signed with AEW, a promotion known for its openness toward LGBTQ+ talent. But bad luck struck again when he suffered a severe knee injury in early 2022, forcing him to stop wrestling. While still recovering, he became involved in a legal dispute related to domestic violence. Although the case was ultimately dismissed, AEW also chose not to keep him. Jake Atlas's career may not have ended in glory, but it remains marked by courage. He stands as proof that living authentically, chasing your dreams, and facing the harsh ups and downs of the journey is a victory in its own right. 6. Terry Garvin. If there is one story WWE has tried hardest to bury behind the curtain, the first name that comes up is Terry Garvin. A powerful figure in the WWF office during the late 1980s, Garvin was well known inside the company. He handled tour scheduling, travel logistics, match planning, and helped guide younger talent, a role that appeared administrative on the surface but actually gave him immense influence over many wrestlers' futures. Behind that seemingly standard position, Garvin became infamous for something far darker, using his authority to pressure young wrestlers into sexual favors in exchange for career advancement. The most disturbing case involves Nick Kiniski, son of legend Gene Kiniski. In 1987, Nick was seen as a rising star. He wrestled at Madison Square Garden, earned strong praise, and was expected to climb quickly. But according to Nick's account, everything changed because of one backstage encounter. Garvin approached him with a proposition that sent chills through the wrestling world. "Nick, let me take care of you. You just look at that Playboy magazine, and the rest of your life will be smooth." It wasn't an awkward joke, it was blatant abuse of power. Nick rejected him immediately, saying he would never trade his dignity for success. And just as he feared, his promising career effectively ended that same night. Planned pushes and opportunities vanished without explanation. Within weeks, he realized the WWF door had fully closed. Years later, as the wrestling industry once again confronted serious sexual misconduct allegations involving other powerful figures, Nick chose to tell his story in full. He said the memory never faded, and the only thing that kept him grounded was this belief: "You can take my job, but you can't take my dignity." Nick's experience wasn't unique. Terry Garvin's name resurfaced during the 1992 scandal, one of the biggest controversies WWF ever faced. Garvin, ring announcer Mel Phillips, and another high-ranking staff member were accused of sexually harassing ring crew members and young employees. The scandal rocked the company, triggering internal investigations and multiple firings, even though no criminal charges were filed. After the incident, Garvin left WWF and disappeared from the industry, ending his career in disgrace. Garvin died in 1998, taking many hidden truths with him. But those he harmed never forgot. His story remains a stark warning about the dark side of power in professional wrestling, a world where opportunities could be exchanged for things no one should ever be forced to endure. And no matter how many times WWE tries to erase it, the truth lingers as a stain that cannot be wiped from the company's history. 7. Paige. From the moment she first appeared, Saraya, or Paige, as WWE fans knew her, commanded attention across the wrestling world. Her pale skin, thick jet black hair, and sharp, piercing eyes gave her a mysterious gothic aura. She looked more like the lead singer of a rock band than someone molded by WWE's then-preferred, perfect doll image. In 2014, Paige shook the industry when she defeated AJ Lee on her very first night on Raw to win the Divas Championship. That moment wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. Saraya pushed open the door for the women's evolution long before WWE started branding it as a movement. She was powerful, rebellious, unconventional, and above all, unapologetically herself, making her an irreplaceable symbol of a new era. Throughout her career, Paige was known for her blunt personality and her headline-making relationships with Brad Maddox, Xavier Woods, and later rocker Ronnie Radke. But her personal life wasn't only defined by those high-profile romances. What many didn't know was that Saraya is bisexual, a part of herself she once kept private. In 2015, on Total Divas, Paige casually revealed this truth so naturally that the entire crew, and the audience, were caught off guard. It wasn't a formal announcement or a planned media rollout. It was simply an honest moment in a personal conversation. She mentioned she had dated women, which quickly led to one of the show's most memorable scenes when Rosa Mendez immediately switched into flirt mode. "It's the 21st century," Paige said breezily, prompting Rosa to reply with a now iconic line. "My feelings for Paige have changed." Hearing that definitely makes me more interested. Behind the humor was a meaningful step. At that time, very few WWE personalities openly discussed their sexuality, especially female wrestlers. Paige sharing this part of herself on national television helped chip away at stereotypes surrounding bisexuality in professional sports. She never tried to turn it into a dramatic storyline. It was simply another piece of who she was. And that honesty made fans love her even more. More importantly, her openness never harmed her career. If anything, it made Paige feel more relatable and genuine. She embodied the punk rock attitude she portrayed in the ring. Bold, different, and never running from the truth. After leaving WWE in 2022 and joining AEW under her real name, Saraya has kept the same wild, free-spirited energy. Now single for the first time in years, she is taking time to recharge and continue living authentically, just as she always has. 8. John Cena. John Cena has always been a topic of endless conversation. Not just for his 17 world titles or the mantra, hustle, loyalty, respect, but also for his unbelievable viral moments. And none shook the internet more than the time he made everyone think he had launched an OnlyFans account. In 2024, Cena sent social media into chaos when he tweeted that he had officially joined OnlyFans, adding a teasing message. "You've never seen me like this. Subscribe through the link in my bio." For a few wild hours, fans genuinely believed the WWE legend had entered a whole new chapter, in the most literal way possible. But the truth soon surfaced. It was all a marketing stunt for the R-rated comedy Ricky Stenicki, where Cena plays a loud, eccentric character hired to pose as a fake, imaginary friend to help cover up a long-running lie. To sell the role, Cena orchestrated a full-blown OnlyFans fake-out, a brilliantly chaotic piece of publicity very much in line with his humor. Still, not everyone was amused. Some accused him of gay baiting, using LGBTQ+ themes for attention. But Cena didn't dodge the conversation. He addressed it openly, saying his support for the LGBTQ+ community has always come from genuine respect, not gimmicks. And that's something he has consistently proven. Behind the muscle-bound hero, the iconic memes, and the comedic roles, Cena has long been a dedicated ally. He grew up with an older gay brother, Steve Cena, who faced constant judgment. Cena often shares that Steve taught him what real strength and empathy look like. In one emotional interview, Cena said, "As a kid, I'd fight anyone who insulted my brother. Steve was my hero. He showed me what true toughness is." His actions have matched his words. He's worn the Rainbow Love Has No Labels shirt, supported multiple LGBTQ+ organizations, and used his platform to promote respect, something not everyone in the hypermasculine world of wrestling is willing to do. Fans may poke fun at his outrageous roles, like nearly going nude at the 2024 Oscars or dressing as a mermaid in Barbie. But Cena doesn't mind. He knows he's breaking old barriers, and more importantly, he's not afraid of being misunderstood. And to end all speculation, Cena is not gay. He has been married to Shea Shariatsidi since 2020. But when it comes to powerful voices advocating for diversity and respect in wrestling, John Cena remains one of the strongest and most influential allies the industry has ever had. 9. Anthony Bowens. Anthony Bowens is one of the rare figures in professional wrestling who chose to live authentically and turn that truth into a source of strength. He's known not only as an AEW standout, but also as a symbol of confidence, courage, and boundary breaking in a world famous for its toughness and hypermasculine culture. From the start of his career, Bowens impressed with solid technique, a powerful physique, and an engaging stage presence. But what truly set him apart was his honesty, the way he faced the world without hiding who he was. While many wrestlers keep their personal lives private, Bowens stepped forward and openly stated that he is gay, a choice that required tremendous bravery in an industry still marked by lingering stigma. When he came out, some feared it might hurt his career. Instead, Bowens proved the opposite. Fans embraced him even more for his integrity, and AEW recognized that his voice added something unique to the new generation of talent. Bowens has continued to serve as a role model for young people who want to chase their dreams without sacrificing their identity. He fights with physical strength, but inspires through positivity and his commitment to living truthfully. For Anthony Bowens, sexuality is not an obstacle. It's simply one piece of the journey that shaped him into a hero in his own way. 10. Quincy Elliott. Quincy Elliott is one of the most distinctive personalities ever to step onto the NXT stage. From his very first appearance, he carved out a bright, unforgettable presence with the nickname Super Diva, a title that instantly told the world he had no intention of blending in. He wanted to be the performer the entire arena turned to look at, talk about, and remember long after the show ended. Quincy didn't follow the typical blueprint of a chiseled physique or aggressive wrestling persona. Instead, he chose a bolder path. Vibrant hair, sparkling outfits that bounced off the lights, and an entrance that felt like a runway performance. Every stride down the ramp carried the spirit of a fashion catwalk, confident, flamboyant, and utterly unique. His biggest inspiration was Goldust, a pioneer who opened the door for gender-bending and expressive characters in WWE. But Quincy never tried to be anyone's new version. He created his own style, playful, charming, and fearlessly expressive. Each appearance was a declaration that he wasn't just an entertainer, he was an embodiment of artistic freedom. Though his time in WWE was brief, Quincy made a lasting impact on NXT Level Up. Fans loved him not just for his matches, but for the color, charisma, and freshness he brought to the show. Most importantly, Quincy openly embraced his sexuality, becoming a source of motivation for young LGBTQ+ fans. For him, stepping into the ring as his true self wasn't just an act of courage. It was a powerful reminder that wrestling is a place for everyone, no matter who they are or how they identify. 11. Toni Storm. Toni Storm was once seen as one of WWE's brightest future stars. She had everything a top-tier performer needed: standout looks, undeniable charisma, and in-ring ability capable of igniting any arena. Everywhere she went, Toni drew crowds in with her fierce, free-spirited style and unmistakable presence. Yet despite the early buzz, her WWE run never grew into what many had hoped for. Even so, no one can deny that Toni Storm remains one of the most resilient women ever to step into the spotlight. Long before her WWE debut, Toni had already made waves on the independent scene. In the UK, she made history as the first women's champion in Progress Wrestling, a milestone that cemented her as a rising icon of European women's wrestling. Her run in Japan was even more impressive. Competing for Stardom, the world's premier women's promotion, Toni held the SWA World Championship for 612 days, a record that left fans stunned. She later captured the prestigious World of Stardom Championship, solidifying her status as a true international star. Toni's WWE journey began with the Mae Young Classic tournaments in 2017 and 2018. In her first attempt, she reached the semifinals, enough to show WWE the potential they had on their hands. 1 year later, she reached the mountaintop by winning the entire Mae Young Classic at Evolution, the company's first-ever all-women's pay-per-view. From there, she became a cornerstone of NXT UK, winning the women's title before moving on to NXT and eventually SmackDown. But instead of being pushed forward, she slowly faded into the background. A promising rivalry with Charlotte Flair seemed poised to elevate her, yet everything abruptly stalled. Unfinished plans, matches lacking direction, and growing exhaustion left Toni feeling trapped inside WWE's massive machine. In December 2021, Toni Storm made a decision that shocked the wrestling world. She requested her release. Even more surprising, WWE granted it immediately. No bitterness, no harsh words. Toni simply said she appreciated the time she had, but she no longer felt joy or purpose in what she was doing. She once described feeling like she was watching her own life from the outside, powerless to change anything. A quiet but relentless kind of burnout. The mental pressure, non-stop travel, and distance from family eventually drained her. Only after leaving WWE did Toni realize she had lost her smile long ago. Walking away wasn't just an escape, it was the start of reclaiming who she truly was. Not long before that, during Pride Month in 2021, Toni publicly came out as bisexual. She didn't make a grand announcement. Instead, she shared it casually on NXT's Instagram stories, saying it simply felt like the right time to be honest. That simplicity made her message even more powerful. Throughout her career, Toni had been linked to several names, including Tyler Bate, Chris Ridgway, and Juice Robinson, the man who later became her husband. Her coming out surprised many, but it only deepened fans' respect for her authenticity. Toni Storm is living proof that sometimes, to rediscover your joy, your freedom, and your true self, you must be brave enough to leave the place that once hurt you. And that choice can lead to an even brighter path ahead. 12. Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan has always been one of the standout names in WWE. She attracts attention not only for her edgy appearance, captivating gaze, and rebellious fashion style, but also for the mystery surrounding her personal life, which keeps fans intrigued. Liv has been rumored to be bisexual, due to her intimate interactions on social media and some ambiguous statements. These factors have led the LGBTQ+ community to hope and speculate about her orientation. However, Liv Morgan has never officially disclosed her romantic preferences. She neither confirms nor denies these speculations, leaving everything in a state of ambiguity. This creates a mysterious image, both approachable and distant, making people hopeful yet unable to define her clearly. Including Liv on this list may be controversial, but from another perspective, with her influence and positive connection to the LGBTQ+ community, she remains a beloved figure. Even though she may not be openly part of that community, Liv provides a sense of understanding and respect for those within it. Regardless of the truth, Liv continues to maintain her charm, shining as a star between the blurred lines of privacy and publicity. If you enjoy inspiring stories from the world of WWE, don't forget to like and subscribe so Wrestling Sphere can keep bringing you more quality content. See you in the next video.